Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kodash. Have honors under the Elders Apostle Millstone, the Elders Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect. The sincere servants of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, serving him in truth and sincerity. Yes, from Brother Chayaba from G-Man's Plain Tables Camp. Come back with another lesson to his spirit. Yes, so this lesson will be based off of this article from nationalnews.com, which is entitled, it says, Sam Altman pitches World ID to bankers as AI threatens traditional identity systems. And we already know Sam Altman, of course, the CEO of OpenAI, which of course is the company that developed ChatGPT. Well, ultimately, this is what he's pitching for, which, hey, we understand that this guy isn't doing this by, his own means. What I mean by that is that ultimately, these, CEOs of these massive tech companies, they're being set up and used by who, of course, the elites, the international banking families. The ones who, really pull the strings behind the scenes. And what they want. They want ultimately a world ID system, which is ultimately the ID. What they're aiming for is to put it, have a physical device in everybody. Right now, of course, they're aiming for digital ID. Like, let's go ahead and get this article and read what this World ID is. It says, at a U.S. Federal Reserve conference, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman promoted his iris scanning digital ID system, World ID, as essential to combating AI-driven fraud in banking and finance. It says, Altman warned that AI has already rendered voice, face, and other biometric authentication methods ineffective, urging immediate adoption of new identity technologies. Developed by Altman's company Tools for Humanity, World ID verifies users via iris scans, and stores their identity data using blockchain, aiming to distinguish real humans from AI bots online. It says the project has faced international regulatory pushback over surveillance risk, data retention, lack of transparency, and potential erosion of individual autonomy. When asked about AI making decisions misaligned with societal norms, Altman deflected, heightening skepticism about the safety and accountability of his digital identity vision. Yeah, and again, this simply just Esau inching closer and closer onto what that world, or ultimately the mark of the beast system. And again, they're using the digital ID, and just like everything, that's part of their agenda. They're always gonna have some type of ultimate, reason, a cause that's been created by them. As the saying goes, problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem. They wait for the reaction, and they offer a solution. Sometimes they create the reaction too, because we know there's a whole bunch of bots online, being used to push their agenda, all across social media. So at times, they're actually creating the reaction too, to further, deceive the minds of the people. Because again, that's concerning the digital ID. As we know, it says, to read this portion again, it says, Altman warned that AI has already rendered voice, face, and other biometric authentication methods ineffective, urging immediate adoption of new identity technologies. Yeah, and that's what they're going to come with. As AI keeps on getting better and better, Eventually it's gonna very, very soon is gonna come out on the news. Oh, we can't tell the difference between a human and an AI bot. So we're gonna need some type of identity technology to differentiate an AI bot and a human. You already know that that's what they're gonna come with. And these guys are the ones who are releasing these voice, AI and face deepfake and again, these are the people who are releasing it. But they're again, so they introduce a problem. They wait for the reaction, then they offer the solution. Revelation chapter 13 and 16, it says, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or on their foreheads, who see ultimately that's strong with the elites of Esau Edom, of course, Esau Edom being the so-called white man, and strong with the chief tribe of the nation of Edom, Amalek, which are the small hats, so people who call themselves the children of the Lord over there in the land of Israel today. Again, that's the chief tribe of the nation of Edom. And we know how all these banking families are Amalekites, small hats. And these are the guys who are going to cause, again, this their agenda. This what they want. Ultimately, let's keep on reading. It says, we'll read again, Revelation chapter 13 and 16, and he causeth meaning he's going to mandate it. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand on the foreheads. Yeah, because he wants to make everybody a slave. No matter who you are, how rich you are, poor you are, small and great, Joe Schmo, whoever. It says free and bond. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're in prison or whatever. It says to receive a mark in the right hand or on their foreheads. And this isn't no spiritual abstract mark. No, this is literally a physical, tangible device, a mark. When you get that word for mark within the Greek, it's the Greek word kragma, which means a stamp and a print of mark. It says, the mark stamped on forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Of course, we know the Antichrist is not just one person. The Antichrist, again, represents ultimately what? If you're against the Messiah, because all anti means is what? Against, and Christ, of course, means anointed within the Greek, Christos, which is what simply means you're against the Most High and the Son, and against these scriptures, what the scriptures say. So ultimately, if you take that mark, then you are Antichrist. You are against what the Lord said. But the majority of the world, they're in the spirit of the Antichrist. Why? Because they're against the Messiah. They're against the Most High and the Son and this word. And they're against the prophets. The ones who are breaking down this word in 100% truth. It says, Strong's definition, a scratch or etching, i.e. stamp. So it's going to be a scratch or etching. It says a sculptured figure. It's a statue. So the point is that it's going to be something that's physical, something that's tangible. When you think of, and you see the definition in the BLB, it says outline of biblical usage. You see the last one, it says of idolatrous images. Yeah. It says thing, carved, sculpture, graven work. Graven work. What does the word graven mean? It says archaic definition, engrave an inscription or image on a surface. But yeah, so the point is that it's going to be something physical. A sculpture is something physical. It says a scratch or etching. Yeah, because it's going to be something that's scratched. And we already know what this is. And let's go ahead and get the next verse real quick. Scratch meaning is going to be injected. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might bar or sell save he that had him work. So Revelation chapter 13 and 17. And that no man might bar or sell save he that had him mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have this mark. Meaning, I mean, you won't be able to do anything in society. Pay for your rent, your bills, have a job, pay for food, water. Within the realms of the society, you won't have access to anything. What, they're going to use that as a temptation to get many people. The majority of the world, or I mean, mostly everybody's going to take it. The ones who are, ultimately reserved and predestined not to take it are the elect of the nation of Israel. Yeah, the elect of the nation of Israel, it says, which again are the Lord's chosen. Which the Lord only chose Israelites, his people. But more specifically, the elect of the nation of Israel, the remnant within his people. So yeah, the elect, the remnant of the nation of Israel. It says, Revelation chapter 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell except he that had a mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have it. So within, again, that's going to be used as a temptation. Esau is going to use that as a great temptation to ultimately to tempt people into taking it, and many people will fall for it. But again, the elect won't fall for it. As we know, Revelation chapter 3 and 10. It says, so this is read a letter, this is Yahushua speaking, the Messiah. It says, because thou hast kept, it's like it says, Revelation chapter 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah. So what the ones who keep, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Yeah, so because thou hast kept the word of my patience, meaning the ones who ultimately do the will of the Lord, the ones who do the will of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai unto the end. And ultimately do his will unto the end. Which ultimately that's going to be the elect. It says, Revelation chapter 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah, and again, this new system that Esau's setting up, he's designing it where people are very dependent on the system, on the technology. We see Wally. That's pretty much how they want to have it. And we see all these other, Detroit Become Human, the video game, and, iRobot, and some of these, these other movies that go into these, again, advanced technology societies pretty much. Again, is they ultimately, the ones at the top, they want to have as much control as possible and have you connected to the grid so that you're controllable 100%. They already have the minds of the people through the media, through, of course, we already know Esau's a highly massive witch. What constantly, pretty much you using spells and to further deceive the people. But again, that final thing that they want is to have everybody see it. And again, that mark. So what is the mark? So again, we have the description according to Revelation chapter 13 and 16, which again is going to be a physical thing, something that's scratched or etched below the surface of the skin. So we already know exactly what that is. When you look up RFID, this is what the mark is. The C-hip. And yeah, we gotta say it like that, or else these videos would get taken down. But hey, this is exactly what it is. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So you look up RFID, C-hip, MOTB, and yeah, there used to be images. Now I guess they're being hidden now. Try to look it up on DuckDuckGo. But yeah, it's being hidden here too. Okay, well, yeah, this is a good image right here. So this is what it is, and ultimately, read Revelation chapter 13:18. It says, "Here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And that's a number that they love to use. You'll see everywhere within these company logos. You see it, hidden in plain sight in these movies and commercials and TV shows, whatever, video games. Just again, wherever Esau can use his number, he hides it. Sometimes he hides it in even using other language or other languages to hide this number. The point is that they love to use that number 666. So when you get the barcode, a typical barcode has as you can see the image, the typical barcode has that 666 on it, in it, within a barcode language. So hey, ultimately this is where they're pushing for. So again, that mark of the beast is the RFID C-hip. Again, the implant that they want to put in everybody, and this is going to give them full control. We already see the Neuralink. The brain C-hip. Again, so they're using, the elites are using Elon Musk, they're using Sam Altman, Bill Gates, Kill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg, and again all these other guys who are set up. Again, the further push their agenda. So yeah, there's a little bit more in this article, but I'm gonna leave the link in the description, Lord, as well. So those are you blessed and edified. Yahweh Bashim Yashai Bashim Kakurash Prakatum. Shalom.